of the day. But on top of that, entrance is free, drinks are discounted, so come through and enjoy them. And this is not the end of it.
As a party animal, you know the weekend is officially here. What is your advice to someone that is planning to stay home, or even someone that is actually coming out to have a good time tonight?
First things first, no one should stay home. Yeah. I don't have an advice for someone staying home, no.
All right, thank you so much, Ivan. Remember, the fact that it is a weekend, either way, when you come to have a good time, enjoy responsibly, because at the end of the day, we need you alive, we need other people alive. My name is Dora. Make sure you keep it locked to NBS TV to
NBS Live at 9.
There are definitely three categories of wisdom. Some people are born with wisdom, others learn it in school, and according to the State Minister for Local Government, there's also the third category,
which is
amageza amakake. You have to bulldoze common sense into individuals. We have a story on the handover in the Ministry of Local Government.
Quite an interesting week, if I should say, in the news especially, but I'm looking forward to that story. Meanwhile, headlines coming up next.
Because when you win and you are petitioned, generally you are disturbed.
Torn between defending their seats and legislating.
You are not sure of the outcome. So naturally, you are not at peace.
So that takes a lot of your time.
What should be the main focus for MPs facing election petitions?
Political life is generally tabulated.
Ministry of Finance announces a tight implementation of the budget. What happens to officers who fail to account? Chisanja no sleep. Which mechanism will monitor leaders' performance?
Discipline people on a supplementary budget.
How do you make a requisition of the millions you didn't get for that institution?
Stinking corruption in the Ministry of Local Government.
Didn't fail because I was weak. I failed because there was concerted effort to fight me.
I've given you a copy.
Why did the outgoing ministers fail to cap the vice?
And he appended it and stamped even.
You unlawfully caused the death of Gongodio Sydney
for detained over the murder of rugby player.
The case against all the four of you is murder.
Will justice be served?
This is NBS Live at 9 with Samson Kasumba and Victoria Sibia.
Too many stories on a Friday evening, one never knows where to begin. But somehow we'll have to begin with members of parliament across party lines have been asking the judiciary to urgently hear and dispose of over the 100 pending election petitions, saying the cases are distracting legislators and they are undermining service delivery. The members of parliament argued that with the petitions still unresolved, affected legislators spend more time in court than they would otherwise be spending in a parliament, making it difficult for them to focus on legislative duties and to serve their constituencies effectively when there is this dry board hanging around their neck.
The 2026 parliamentary elections produced 529 elective seats, with over 100 of them now contested in courts across the country.
Because when you win and you are petitioned, generally you are disturbed.
Speaking to NBS TV, some of the MPs revealed how their colleagues with petitions say they are caught between court appearances, community demands and parliamentary duties, leaving them unsettled and unable to perform optimally.
And when you go to court, you are not sure of the outcome. So naturally, you are not at peace.
You then begin to think and struggle to make sure you are able to have a successful case. And so that takes a lot of your time.
It can destabilize you, but political life is generally turbulent.
MP Guma Gumziriza of Ibanda North is now advising colleagues facing petitions to prioritize defending their seats rather than concentrating on legislative work now.
They should first concentrate on their petitions and ensure that they get those petitions out of their way.
But my appeal should go to the judiciary to expedite the disposal of petition cases.
So that once the cases have been disposed of, they will now be able to concentrate if they come through as winners, but also in the unlikely event that they have lost, then it will be better for them not to spend a lot.
The MPs also described the rising cost of litigation.
Because between you and me, my brother, unless you have an enormous amount of money, you cannot sustain a petition.
I have a friend who has a case, a petition against him. I don't want to mention where it comes from. But can you imagine the lawyers have demanded for almost 100 million?
The issue of whether MPs with pending petitions should receive the 315 million shillings car grant has split the House, with some saying there is no legal basis to deny a sitting MP an entitlement approved by Parliament. However, others push for a halt until petitions are determined, citing potential waste of public funds if a by-election is ordered.
I wouldn't support that money is given to MPs, but it can be discussed. Maybe hold the money first for those who have petitions.
That is not how the law works. You cannot, that is being preemptive. In Uganda, you are only guilty when you are proven.
We will definitely see where that goes. The permanent secretary to the Ministry of Finance, who also doubles as the secretary to the Treasury, Ramadan Gobi, has vowed that the Ministry of Finance will crack a whip on corruption and mismanagement to ensure that all those allocated funds are spent according to the needs, and this is to ensure proper implementation of the budget. Ramadan Gobi pointed to implementation and execution discipline as being critical if government is to capitalize on the 2026-2027 budget to ensure growth and transformation.
The 2026-2027 budget is estimated at 84.39 trillion shillings, with domestic revenue mobilization projected at 44 trillion shillings. The ministry contends that an obligation to fund the budget solely lies upon the shoulders of Ugandans, although they recognize some of the tax policies could pinch.
The revenue is growing, and that is good. Of course, with some pinch on us. Some of the sources of revenue are not very popular, but inevitable, because they are the main strands of economic activity that we have in the country that we should tax.
Ramadan Gobi expressed confidence in the accountability mechanisms in the budget, saying this will see all accounting officers sign a budget discipline and accountability charter committing to accounting for every penny while spending as planned.
The disease is the way, for example, we budget for counterpart funding. We had left it on the discretion of the implementing entity. But counterpart funding is almost like a debt, because you have committed in a financing agreement that you are going to purchase land right of way for this project to be implemented. But we haven't been very keen.
Gobi said they will crack a whip on all accounting officers and government officials, frustrating accountability and transparency, and the suspects could end up behind bars in efforts to consolidate the president's message of Kisanja, no sleep and no corruption.
We are going to discipline people on procurement, discipline people on supplementary budgets, discipline people on implementation of projects.
Tasked with collecting the revenue, Uganda Revenue Authority contends many Ugandans have expressed willingness to pay taxes, although many have questioned the effectiveness of the paid taxes.
Because many of our taxpayers, the question they'll ask us is, but what is my money going to do? You're asking for the money, but see how it's being spent. So once government put emphasis on the side of expenditure, discipline and accountability, Ugandans are much more willing actually to contribute even more.
However, some of the private sector stakeholders cited the failure to increase the tax base as one of the major challenges affecting domestic revenue mobilization.
Without supporting the private sector, we shall not have tomorrow's customer. So it becomes very important that we still focus.
We are talking more of deepening than widening. So these taxes that you see are going to come back again to haunt the formal sector. So I was rather surprised by the PSST's comment that the informality is in the formal sector.
We definitely will miss him. After 15 years at the helm of the Ministry of Finance, veteran politician Matia Kasaija officially handed over office to Henry Musasizi, who previously served as Minister of State for General Duties in the very same ministry. During the handover ceremony, top technical and administrative officials paid tribute to Matia Kasaija, describing him as a leader with great heart who served the ministry wholeheartedly throughout his tenure there.
For 15 years, Matia Kasaija has been the face of Uganda's economic stewardship, serving as an experienced and dependable figure at the helm of the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. A veteran politician and seasoned public servant, Kasaija earned respect not only for managing the country's finances, but also for his humility, accessibility, and commitment to mentoring the next generation of leaders. Colleagues described him as a leader with a good heart, whose door was always open and whose guidance helped to nurture many professions within the ministry.
Honorable Matia was always saying, you know, for us, we have done it all. God has favored us to live longer, but we know we are not going to live forever. So to say, but in an event that I am not in that ministry, I have a son who is there. He will carry on. And the son was me. He was referring to me. We have been colleagues for the last 15 years. We worked together in the committees of money in Parliament, all of them. Where he would chair here, he chair there, do what. So we came here at the same time. And we have, when we look back, especially in the regulatory environment, most of the laws which regulate the financial sector, I was telling him yesterday, there is no law which we have not reviewed in this period.
Kasaija said that although he was handing over office, he would remain available to offer guidance and consultation when called upon.
We may now be in different situations, but But we remain a solid group. If you have got something that you think I can help out, I am ready.
Officials from the top technical team at the Ministry of Finance noted that beyond overseeing key economic policies and national budgets, Kasaidia played a significant role in mentoring generations of public servants.
Everywhere you go in Africa, they know Honorable Matia Kasaidia. So you have been a wonderful ambassador for us, but also of finance, planning, and economic development. Very easy to work with, and I'm sure your colleagues will testify to that.
The handover ceremony also saw changes among the ministry's political leadership, with newly appointed Minister of State for Privatization Amina Mokalazi and Minister of State for General Duties Sise Molondo officially their respective offices.
Colleagues, the stories will come. Now, opposition members of parliament have criticized President Yoweri Museveni over his proposal to monitor and determine the allowances based on performance and work output. The legislators argue that although the proposal may have been good with good intentions, it does contradict Article 85 of the Constitution and the provisions of the Public Finance Management Act.
While addressing the Parliament, President Yoweri Museveni expressed concern over the performance of some legislators, saying many focus more on their personal interests and fail to effectively monitor government programs and represent the concerns of their constituents.
What is the Member of Parliament doing? Even the opposition ones, the ones of the NRM, I will struggle with them. But even the opposition ones, as long as you are getting allowance from Parliament and you don't go to check what is happening, I would ask you, the Attorney General, to see how I can deal with you also.
However, opposition legislators led by Opposition Chief Whip Pomwiru, together with political analyst and legal counsel Elias Tumwebaze, said that the president's proposal may appear beneficial but cannot be implemented because it violates Article 85, which guarantees independence of Parliament from interference by other arms of government.
The law even says that it's Parliament to determine some emoluments. You understand? But I think what is for discussion, when you say that if I receive money and my work is to do oversight and I don't do that oversight, the question is that the money I received is money, public money, and I must account.
It is only the Parliament which has the power to reduce their salaries or payment. And that is based on the doctrine of separation of powers. The executive cannot interfere in the business of the Parliament.
They further contend that for a long time, they have been raising concerns about funds hidden under classified expenditure, alleging that such resources have been used to influence its members, which weakens Parliament's oversight role over government activities.
And taking money through classified, which has been taken to compromise opposition people and other people. That distorted the politics.
Let's be looked at fairly and be aided to do our work in a fair way. We are not only just opposition leaders, we are people who have ideas who can contribute to this country. That's what we want also.
Such statements are political. So they are political, and as head of state he is entitled to it. But after such statement, we need now to scrutinize which sections are implementable as per the laws of Uganda.
Elias Tumwebaze, a lawyer, also challenged the president, saying that State House should set an example by reducing public expenditure and demonstrating prudent use of taxpayers' money before demanding similar accountability from Parliament.
The president first needs to reduce the expenditure of State House and set an example so that Parliament will also welcome that idea, and they will also support the idea of reducing the emoluments and salaries of MPs.
Still talking about so-called and martyrs money, the government of Uganda has committed 545 billion to equip a number of facilities in a Bunyoro sub-region, including upgrading of health facilities, extension of power, water, roads, and supporting the hotel industry to enable the region and Uganda generally to successfully host the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations. Now that's just about 6 months away.
This was revealed by the Prime Minister Robin Anabanja while launching the upgrade of Buseruka Health Center 3 to Health Center 4 and construction of emergency accident ward at Hoima Regional Hospital, as well as the upgrade of Masindi Hospital to align with the Confederation of African Football standards. Nabanja was in the company of Peter Gwang, the State Minister for Sports, Dr. Charles Ayume, the State Minister for Health, and Mary Mugasa, the State Minister for Bunyoro Grace, along with a delegation from the National Council of Sports. The construction undertaken by the UPDF Engineering Brigade, Buseruka being in the middle of Kabaleg International Airport and Hoima City Stadium is crucial for handling emergencies that may arise, according to the government. Nabanja also launched the construction of an emergency accident ward at Hoima Regional Referral Hospital before proceeding to Masindi, where she also launched the upgrade of Masindi Hospital to serve the Masindi training grounds during AFCON. The three projects that are set to improve healthcare in the districts to host AFCON will cost Uganda government 91 billion shillings in total.
These facilities will, however, serve all the people of Uganda. I want you to take a note that these facilities will serve all the people of Uganda beyond the AFCON.
No wonder here, where we are, it was a condition from the Confederation of African Football between the airport and the city where the sporting activity is going to take place. We must have a health center with an emergency facility.
The State Minister for Health, Dr. Charles Ayume, said most of the facilities being upgraded for AFCON will be equipped to the level of community hospitals, which will see improvement in the health sector even after AFCON.
So whatever a big hospital can do, we shall be able to do it here. We shall have a theater here. We shall have ultrasound scan.
Nabanja disclosed that the government has committed 545 billion in Bunyoro to improve different sectors in hospitality, passenger terminal at Kabaleg International Airport, training grounds, access roads, water and power line extension, among others.
We are going to work on access roads around Hoima City at 95.5 billion. We are going to upgrade water services and capacity. You were talking about water here at 6.25 billion. We are putting dedicated power lines to AFCON facilities.
As I speak now, as a sector of education, we have almost completed our works at 98% with the exception of the training facilities. But now where we have a problem is the other sectors which supplement the completion of AFCON 2027.
At the occasion, the Prime Minister also received the Stanbic Uganda Cup, won by Kitara FC, with the Minister confirming that the club will be granted Hoima City Stadium to host their CAF Confederations Cup games. Uganda will co-host AFCON 2027 alongside Kenya and Tanzania, with the tournament coming to East Africa for the first time.
Feedback brought to you by.
They are designed to support your growth. Visit absa.co.ug for personal loans that help where it matters. ABSA, your story matters.
That time when we talk feedback. So let's go back to the question and then the responses. First the question, then we get into the responses. In your view, what should be the determinants for measuring the performance of political leaders? Do they even want to be measured? But let's get into that in terms of responses. Political leaders' performance should be measured by their ability to improve citizens' welfare through economic growth, public service delivery, accountability, fulfillment of campaign promises, job creation, and the promotion of peace and the rule of law. And that is Ariat. And then Cosmo says, measuring performance of political leaders requires looking beyond popularity to evaluate tangible outcomes and ethical governance, inclusive of fiscal responsibility, institutional integrity, and policy outcomes. That is Cosmos out there. And NBS Live at 9 continues to be here, and we would like to let you know that we are coming back right after the break, and we will make some changes as well.
Digging is good, but I have a wrong way to go. Katoto, do you need money? Bank of Uganda has introduced agriculture credit facility. You can own equipment such as tractors, plows, harrows, irrigation system. Imagine. Katoto poor today, rich tomorrow. Here you go. Vroom. Go to your nearest bank or call our toll-free line. This message is brought to you by Bank of Uganda.
In 30 seconds, I'll tell you why you have until the 30th of June 2026. First, the 30th of June is your deadline to file your tax returns for the financial year ending 2025-2026. Don't wait. Late filing means errors, and errors mean penalties. Second, if you have an outstanding tax, pay your principal by the 30th of June 2026, and URA will give you a 100% tax waiver. No interest, no penalties, gone. File and pay now at www.ura.go.ug.
Developing Uganda together.
In a fast-moving world, why are we still stuck with paperwork? Signing here, stamping there, moving from office to office. It's exhausting. Now, there's a better way. With UGPass, you can securely prove your identity, sign documents, and access government services anytime, anywhere. No delays, no stress. Everything is instant, safe, secure, and government-backed. UGPass, your identity secured. Available on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. UGPass is a product of Nita Uganda.
The command is not picking up my calls. He has now switched off his phone. He looked legit, so I paid him 500K to process my NSSF money. How dare you!
Are you a student with knowledge in software development, data science, user experience, or systems engineering? Then Bank of Uganda invites you to participate in a hackathon for a chance to win up to 15 million shillings. You will compete in an assigned team to come up with a digital solution to a practical problem within 48 hours. To participate, email your CV to bou60@bou.or.ug by 15th June 2026. For more information, visit bou.or.ug/bou60.
They share an office. Some work in the day, some at night. What they have in common: focus, dedication, That's what makes them champions. They also share something else, the reward of being one. The official beer of the FIFA World Cup 2026. Not for persons under the age of 18. Drink responsibly.
You will always know when you're in the presence of the finest. It's like time slows down, just enough for you to feel everything in full flavor.
Just Malt Lager. Alcohol is not for certain persons under 18. Please drink responsibly.
Weekend yetu sema yeto inagafumba.
You got Glovo.
Oinacheweta mukatale tofayo.
You got Glovo.
If you're having a celebration,
you got Glovo.
You can order what you want, you can get what you need.
You got Glovo.
You got it all.
You got Glovo.
Download the app, order with Glovo, track it minute by minute until you receive it in minutes.
Carrying cash can be stressful. The I&M Bank multi-currency prepaid card makes paying smart and simple. Load and spend confidently in 9 currencies: Ugandan shilling, Kenyan shilling, Tanzanian shilling, Rwandan franc, Indian rupees, United States dollar, British pound, euro, and South African rand. Enjoy safe, simple payments wherever you go. The I&M Bank multi-currency prepaid card is open to everyone, whether you have an I&M Bank account or not. Get yours today and pay confidently worldwide in 9 currencies.
I&M Bank Uganda Limited is regulated by Bank of Uganda. Customer deposits are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund up to 10 million shillings. Terms and conditions apply.
I&M Bank, on your side.
Welcome back. You're still watching NBS Live at 9. It has been a week of handovers. Now, 2 new local government ministers, Balam Barugahara and Justine Namere, have officially assumed office in an emotional handover ceremony held in Kampala. The outgoing ministers, Raphael Magezi and Victoria Rusoke Businje, handed over responsibility to the duo, warning them of what they described as the stinking corruption in the ministry. The outgoing leaders insisted they did not fail in their duties, but were instead entangled in battles against corruption scandals. They claimed that individuals they reported for misconduct in the Ministry of Finance and within local government were surprisingly rewarded with promotions.
Ceremony was held at the Ministry of Local Government in the heart of the city, inside a boardroom filled with technical staff who turned up to witness the ceremony. Outgoing local government minister Raphael Magezi and his deputy Victoria Rusoke Businje formally handed over office to the incoming ministers Balam Barugahara and Justine Namere.
I've given you a copy of the Ministry of Local Government Strategic Plan.
In their farewell remarks, the outgoing ministers who were recently dropped from cabinet confessed that much of their time in office was spent battling corruption scandals in a bid to safeguard taxpayers' money. They revealed that some of the individuals they confronted were highly placed officials, a factor they hint may have contributed to their exit from office.
I didn't fail because I was weak. I failed because there was concerted effort to fight me. How do you make a requisition to an institution of the millions you didn't get for that institution in black and white?
Certain categories of personnel decide to associate. But it's important to understand that the minister must bless that. Otherwise, we will lose track.
The outgoing ministers also handed over a 46-page report detailing ongoing projects within the ministry. They include pending land evictions, the eviction of the Balalo from northern Uganda, and investigations into illegal recruitment of local government staff. They warned the incoming leaders to beware of individuals within the system who are always seeking opportunities to swindle taxpayers' money.
I walked to Honorable Matia Kasaija. I said, first ascertain, am I witch hunting people or I'm reporting the truth? Append your signature on the releases. And he appended it and stamped even. Matia Kasaija signature stamped it. Ask yourselves, what is the fate of that case?
Even from ward 0, you're going to get that fight between the chairman and the speaker and the council and the cow and the ward. It's your responsibility to hold the ship so that it is stable. Because the interests inside that ship are tricky.
The new ministers received the advice with open hearts, pledging firm action against corruption.
So all forms of mismanagement will not be tolerated, and we must all account and for the trust placed upon us.
Why does everyone worry about the safety of patriots that have chosen to fight corruption?
The new leaders now face the task of restoring public confidence and steering the ministry through challenges outlined in the handover book.
Well, we are now joined by political analyst Joseph Ochieno. In a Zoom link, we're going to be discussing the performance of some of the leaders. As you can see, some say they failed not because of their own doing, but simply because of circumstances beyond their own control. Now, we're joined by Mr. Joseph Ochieno over there. Good evening and welcome. It's been a very interesting week, actually. A week of handovers, a week of exposures of some of people's offices. Now, the president has also threatened to discipline some ministers or leaders who do not perform. He has been very, very clear on that. How should we then punish leaders without having measured their performance, or how do we even measure their performance in this case?
Thank you for having me. It's actually been very dramatic last 2 weeks. So dramatic that before I came on air, I was beginning to tell myself that maybe I need to be fair to NRM for the first time, that perhaps after this week, there may be a beginning of activities, primarily because the new ministers, unusually, many of them seem to be talking tough on question particular of corruption. And surprisingly, some of them are even also talking about accountability and a performance relationship. But that said, I think the appointing authority, who should actually be the chief supervisor on our behalf, ended up appointing some people with questionable records. So in the last 1 week, we've been spending time discussing whether or not particular individuals were suitable to be ministers. And if a part of them legally related, then it's actually possible that Ugandans have got a right to question whether or not some of these guys have got the necessary skills to deliver in terms of the ministries and portfolios that they hold. But also, it is interesting that the president said, I think, was it yesterday or the other day, he was quoted as having said that, there are particular individuals whom he has appointed, whom he knows are people who quarrel. You can quarrel with them. I think ministers are men and women who should have integrity. They should be men and women who should usually be tested. They should be men and women who have got the capacity to hold on to their briefs, ministerial briefs. Some of the ministers, I'm not quite sure, for example, ministry like local government is a very big ministry. In fact, usually it's the most important ministry after finance and home affairs and health and education. Why? Because they are really responsible for ensuring that local services are delivered at district and lower units. So they're extremely important. The holders of these portfolios, what are their credentials in terms?
Mr. Ochieno, I know we're talking local government there. Can I just come in a little bit? And I want to understand, actually, in terms of, we've seen similar attempts of, or rather, should I say, threats of, making sure that people actually do their job, if I should say. Now, do you think that this time is different? And I want to make a particular example. We saw earlier the Speaker of Parliament being put out in public for corruption and this and that. And again, those calls are being made. Do you think that this time it will work, or are we going to see the next few months of energy and then go back to business as usual in the next 5 years?
The jury's out, and in any case, I've been rather generous to these guys. I told you that some of the comments in the last few days should give Ugandans some hope and possibilities. But I also put a disclaimer on the basis of the kind of appointments. And I was using local government as an example. As some of the other briefs, I mean, someone like Chris Barimozi is a fantastic guy, fantastic minister for health, very good portfolio for him. There is no reason why we couldn't have him tasted over the next 100 days in terms of what he may or may not have achieved. But if you're asking me whether or not these guys are going to perform, unless, as I said, unfortunately, it's 40 years, it has been a rather long time. We've just had a budget, which has been passed. The budget allocations are such that while security took 10 trillion, health and education took less than half of what the average would otherwise be. So some of these things you can talk about, because part of the question, the conversation we're having, is it about the competence of the individuals? Is it about the expectations? I was actually trying to give you a contextual background. In any case, as I said, normal governments anyway, before somebody is actually appointed a cabinet minister, they should really have gone through the test of junior ministerial positions, been felt that they've got capacity to hold the briefs. Maybe they came out on a particular policy position, maybe as researchers or maybe part of a public a debate, and they've sort of passed. At this time, most of these guys are people who are not only untested, but some of them are people whom we hardly know. And I just gave an example. Some of them are people who are not known for the right reason. But the cabinet is so big that there's no reason why we cannot...
I would love to give us more time. I think your analysis is actually quite accurate, if I should say. I would love to give us more time, but thank you so much for joining us. I hope you are enjoying the weather out there in London. Thank you so much, Mr. David Ochieno there, giving us an analysis on what's been happening with those handovers and everything else government. Now let's move on from that. Health advocates and medical experts have criticized the government's latest budget allocation to the health sector, arguing that it falls short of both national needs and international commitments. This comes after health sector's share of the national budget dropped to 6.19%, despite the growing healthcare demands and a rising overall national budget.
The government has allocated 5.23 trillion shillings to the health sector in the 2026-2027 financial year, down from 5.8 trillion shillings in the financial year budget. The reduction of more than 600 billion Uganda shillings comes despite an increase in the overall national budget, which has grown from 72.4 trillion shillings to 84.4 trillion shillings. The latest allocation means the health sector will receive just 6.19% of the national budget, a decline from 7.2% in the previous financial year. This, according to the international commitments, falls short of the Abuja Declaration, under which African governments committed to allocate at least 15% of their national budgets to healthcare. The figures have angered health rights advocates who accuse the government of repeatedly making commitments that are not reflected in actual spending priorities.
If we don't have a national health insurance scheme, if we don't have sufficient growth of the budget over time in aspects of health, we are definitely hitting a dead end where our population is not productive.
Health rights organizations say the declining allocation raises questions about the government's commitment to improving healthcare services at a time when public health facilities continue to struggle with medicine storages, inadequate staffing, and limited resources.
Mechanisms have to be put in place to ensure that there are other sources of financing within the current challenges, and that reprioritization is done effectively on the most urgent aspects of expenditure.
Medical expert Dr. Ekwaro Buku says the budget reduction comes at a critical time for Uganda's health sector, which is facing pressure from both infectious diseases and the growing burden of non-communicable diseases such as cancer, diabetes, and hypertension.
If you're in government, can you imagine the president going to seek care in Mulago, like President Obote? Everybody will make sure everything is in Mulago. Can you imagine the first lady going to seek care in Barara, Regional Referral Hospital, or the first family? Why should MPs, children, seek care in private facilities and not the health center force in their villages?
The concerns also come amid uncertainty surrounding donor support for health programs, which has for years supported interventions against HIV/AIDS, malaria, tuberculosis, and immunization. Health experts warn that reduced external funding makes domestic investment in healthcare more important.
The president always said, for roads, he will allocate money, even if they eat it. There will be money left for roads. Let him do the same for the health sector, but let him improve the monitoring of that money by the citizens themselves through a democratic process called the National Health or Social Health Insurance Scheme. Citizen participation. Right now, the citizen is disempowered.
However, the Ministry of Health has defended the allocation, saying the government remains committed to strengthening healthcare services and will continue advocating for increased funding in future budgets.
We should ensure that we have the drugs and other pharmaceutical supplies being available and accessible to the people, and the other resources which are required for us to provide health care, because health and health care are very essential for every person, whether rich or poor.
Government says it remains focused on preventive healthcare, immunization, disease surveillance, and investments in specialized treatment centers across the country.
Well, it's time that we look at our social spotlight. I love this part when I get to see exactly on X what our top leaders are saying. Starting it off there, of course, with the president of the country. He says, today at State House in Tebe, I presided over the swearing in of Honorable Justice Moses Kaumi Kazibwe as Deputy Chief Justice. I congratulate Justice Kaumi and commend the judiciary under the leadership of Chief Justice Flavian Zeja for the progress being made in fighting corruption, promoting alternative dispute resolution, and embracing digitization. These reforms are important in ensuring that justice is delivered efficiently, fairly, and without unnecessary delays. When we came into government, corruption and excessive emphasis on technicalities were major weaknesses in the judicial system. I am therefore pleased to see continued efforts to strengthen substance, integrity, and accountability in the administration of justice. I wish Justice Kaumi success as he undertakes this important responsibility.
More to come.
Still coming your way, the government has moved to boost tourism and conservation in eastern Uganda by unveiling the Mbale Regional Wildlife Education Center. You'll be looking forward to that particular story right after the break. Don't go anywhere.
Your business is booming. Then one day you run out of capital. You are struggling in unpaid debts and bills. Bank of Uganda has introduced the Small Business Fund. Are you dealing in saloons, dukas, or any other business? Ask for the SBF loan. It has a low interest rate of 10% with up to 1 year grace period.
Contact your bank or SACCO or call our toll-free line on 0800 144 044.
This message is brought to you by Bank of Uganda.
How do you make a party? You take time to prepare, to bring all the pieces together, to craft it right. The result, great refreshment. And that makes it time well spent. Club, brewed longer for longer refreshment.
Calling all P4 to P7 pupils. Here's a chance to win school fees and up to 12 million shillings for your school in the Bank of Uganda Primary School's poetry competition. Write a poem on any one of these 3 themes: the benefits of saving money in the bank, how to save money and why we should save, or how to handle currency notes and coins. Email your poem to bou60@bou.or.ug or drop it off at any Bank of Uganda branch by 30th June 2026. Poems should be between 10 to 30 lines long, original, and never published before. Only 1 entry per pupil. For more information, visit bou.or.ug/bou60.
Your uncle wants you to get a loan. He says you should buy a Beamer to stop embarrassing him in front of his friends with your malnourished car. That you should buy one of those expensive shirts they call Versace, so that people stop spreading rumors that his family has no style. That you need an iPhone because he's tired of biting his tongue whenever he tries to pronounce that funny thing you're holding. Good thing you've got ABSA. Our loans are not designed for others to change what they say about you. They are designed to support your growth. Visit absa.co.ug for personal loans that help where it matters. ABSA, your story matters.
Why pay for someone else's repairs? Say goodbye to hidden costs and hello to peace of mind of a brand new start. Discover the Suzuki range of unmatched, fuel-efficient, and reliable options. From the iconic Jimny to the new Across Hybrid. Find the perfect blend of style and world-class efficiency. Upgrade today and enjoy 1 year of free fuel and comprehensive insurance, plus 2 years of free service and a 3-year warranty. Trade in your current car or choose financing to start driving as you pay installments. Don't wait. Visit the Suzuki showroom today or call 0800-211-033 to get started.
Refresher.
You're still live on NBS Live at 9. Sabia, a few people are going to find out the cost of mob justice.
Unfortunately, quite a sad one. We lost somebody very important.
Absolutely. Now, 4 men accused of participating in the killing of rugby star Sydney Gongodio Gyabi have been arraigned before the City Hall Court and remanded to Luzira Prison until the 23rd of June 2026. The suspects appeared before City Hall Chief Magistrate Edgar Karachire, who read to them the charge of murder before remanding them as investigations continue. The accused are Mugwisha Obed Malay, 39, a boda rider and resident of Nsimbizi Wome Zone in Nakawa, Mondoni, Eli, 33, a resident of Rosita Port Bell, Wino Joseph, 30, a private security guard residing in Bukoto Nakawa Division, and Kabugo Henry, a border rider from Bukoto Old Chira Road. The four were jointly charged with murder alongside other suspects who are still at large. Since murder is an offense capital in nature that can only be tried by the High Court, the magistrate did not allow the accused to enter any pleas. State Attorney Mariam Akite informed the court that investigations into the case are ongoing and that several other suspects linked to the incident have not yet been arrested. She asked court to adjourn the matter to allow police to complete investigations and apprehend the remaining suspects. According to the prosecution, on the 5th of June 2026, along Upper Naguru East Road here in Kampala, the accused and others still at large allegedly took the law into their own hands and violently attacked Sydney Gongodio Jabi, 27, a rugby player. The group is accused of assaulting him with sticks, pavers and stones after allegedly suspecting him of snatching a handbag from a woman.
Now, moving on from that, the government has moved to boost tourism and conservation in eastern Uganda by unveiling the Mbale Regional Wildlife Education Center. The new satellite zoo, launched by Vice President, retired Major General Jessica Alupo, brings lions, zebras and other wild animals closer to the people of Bugisu. The project is being hailed as a major addition to the region's tourism portfolio.
It was pomp and colour in Mbale as Vice President Jessica Alupo presided over the launch of the Mbale Regional Wildlife Education Center. The facility is designed to strengthen conservation awareness and position tourism as a key driver of socio-economic growth in the region. Flanked by State Minister for Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, Susan Nakauchi-Nsamba, the Vice President toured the new park before addressing stakeholders. The center introduces wild animals including lions, zebras and waterbucks to Mbale, expanding the region's tourism beyond Mount Elgon hiking and culture sites.
The establishment of this center here, therefore, represents a deliberate effort to decentralize conservation education and make it more accessible to the people of Eastern Uganda and the neighboring regions.
The Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities remains committed to supporting initiatives that strengthen conservation, diversify tourism products, promote domestic tourism and expand opportunities.
The event drew leaders from across the political and social spectrum as well as community members.
We really want to appreciate, and as local people, we want to own, this is our own. I want to appreciate the decision of government and your physical presence for having given us as a community to host the Mbale Wildlife Conservation Education Center here in Mbale City.
Bugisu culture leader Umkuka III Jude Mike Mudoma welcomed the project but urged stronger conservation of the endangered Calabash monkey on Mount Elgon, noting its cultural value in traditional regalia and artifacts.
With the launch of the Satellite Wildlife Center, I can confidently, as a cultural leader, tell you that the hospitality and tourism landscape of Mbale City will never be the same.
The Uganda Wildlife Authority says this is the first upcountry satellite zoo, with plans to roll out similar centers in other regions to decentralize wildlife education and tourism.
As a board, Your Excellency, we are particularly pleased that this facility brings wildlife conservation education closer to the people of Eastern Uganda.
Well, another thing that does affect tourism is the Ebola outbreak. Now, in a bid to curb the spread of Ebola at Entebbe International Airport, the International Organization for Migration has handed over Ebola response equipment worth 3.5 billion Uganda shillings to the Uganda Civil Aviation Authority. The donation includes 66 automated sanitizer dispensers and thermo scanners valued at 3.4 billion shillings to strengthen screening and infection prevention at the airport.
Following an Ebola outbreak in neighboring DRC that has killed at least 2 Congolese nationals, in Uganda, IOM has stepped in to support Ebola prevention at Entebbe International Airport. The intervention, backed by the U.S. Bureau of Global Health Security and Diplomacy, comes as 14 of Uganda's 19 confirmed cases are imported. While handing over the equipment to the Uganda Civil Aviation Authority, IOM Uganda Chief of Mission Sanusi Tejan said the equipment will strengthen surveillance and help detect suspected Ebola cases early at Entebbe International Airport.
Today, IOM is proud to donate to the Ministry of Health 3 thermal scanners, 60 automated hand sanitizers, dispensers, and tents with furniture to establish a holding space here at Entebbe International Airport. I will briefly explain the purpose of this donation, why it is a matter for Uganda, and how it complements the broader response.
The United Nations Resident Coordinator, Leonard Zulu, is optimistic that the donated equipment will expedite screening of passengers on top of strengthening Ebola surveillance at Entebbe International Airport.
That with the continued collaboration that we have seen here in Uganda, this outbreak can be brought under control and eliminated entirely. I also want to recognize the Uganda Civil Aviation Authority for its vital leadership here at Entebbe International Airport. And not just here, but at the other airports.
The permanent secretary at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Diana Twine, revealed that so far her ministry has registered 800 contacts, of which 400 have been discharged after completing the mandatory 21 days in isolation.
Once we work together with our counterpart, because the burden was a bit big on ground, and once we make sure that the population of Uganda is protected by ensuring that nobody in the country is exposed, and if those are exposed are quickly identified and isolated. I want to assure you that the population of Uganda is very, very, very safe.
She says the remaining contacts will be discharged next week. Health Minister Dr. Chris Baryomunsi pledged to establish emergency response centers in Democratic Republic of Congo so as to reduce the risk of Ebola transmission.
Once these centers are established and made functional, it will greatly reduce the risk of transmission within Uganda if few or none of the Congolese are coming into the country. That's many strategies which probably many of you know. So let's work together so that we drive out this Ebola and other epidemics and improve the quality of life.
MTN voice bundle. Yeah. Load. Hey. Hello, Mama. Hey, it is me, your son, Opio. Hey, now, Mama, listen to me. MTN has the offer. Yes, it has the offer. You load from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Now, they have free MTN to MTN minutes. And those minutes are there all day. So you load, you'll thank me later.
Load an MTN voice bundle between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. and get 3 free MTN to MTN minutes valid all day. Dial *100 *21 hash and get your free minutes bully daily. Free your fire with free minutes from MTN. Together, our connection is unstoppable. MTN.
From 11 June to 19 July, everything can wait. The FIFA World Cup 2026. Catch all 104 matches on 4 dedicated channels, live on SuperSport, only on DSTV.
In a world that's always changing, the foundations of trust must stay strong. For over 60 years, we've built the minds that build trust, shaping the professionals who carry confidence into boardrooms, communities, and lives. Because trust doesn't happen by chance, it's built, tested, and taught. As the world moves forward, so do we, blending data, innovation, and human insight to prepare the next generation of industry leaders.
Insurance Training College in Uganda, enhancing professionalism.
And that's it for today. Till the next episode.
Like a daily bando, like a daily bando, like a daily bando. Omuliro nguwulira muli mu mutima gukankana like drums. Kalakata, kalakata, endungu yakusabula. We gonna do free of fire, free of fire, free of fire.
Hey, hey, travelers! Are you a family gearing up for that big vacation, a hustler working abroad coming home, or your squad chasing sunsets and passport stamps? It's time you lock in. Say goodbye to long airport queues, shocking roaming bills, and the stress of hunting for local SIM cards, because now you can travel like a local. Stay connected in over 180 countries. Just scan, tap, and boom! Instant data the moment you reach your destination. Get your Rogue Travel eSIM today at travel.roguetelcom.co.ug. Contact us on 020-5000123.
Looking for a vacation of a lifetime? Cross the equator and discover Pineapple Bay Resort. Enjoy exceptional life's luxuries. Spend quality time with family, friends, or even that special someone. Get in touch with nature with our range of outdoor activities. The calming tranquility of water, breathtaking views, moving memories around campfires. It's all here. Plus, a club experience like no other at Pineapple Bay Clubhouse. It's a whole vibe. You can hire any of our 3 VIP cruise boats for groups of 10, 14, or 25 people. Or you can cruise out with swag on a luxury yacht for 12 people. Our premium boats are all safety compliant. Make your next vacay an all-round experience at Pineapple Bay, located on Bulago Island, right in the midst of Lake Victoria. Talk to us today.